This episode of Distraction is sponsored by Omega Bright CBD, formulated by Omega Bright Wellness, creators of the #1 omega-3 supplements for the past 20 years. Omega Bright CBD, safe, third-party tested, and it works. Shop online at omegabrightwellness.com. And by Landmark College, offering comprehensive support for students with ADHD and other learning differences. Learn more at lcdistraction.org. Landmark College, the college of choice for students who learn differently. Hello and welcome to a mini episode of Distraction. I'm your host, Dr. Ned Hallowell. I'll bet you didn't know that today is National Just Because Day. You know, I think there's a cause attached to pretty much every day of the year. I had never heard of Just Because Day, but our wonderful, resourceful, incredible producer, Sarah Guertin, found out about it and suggested we do a little mini on that. And I think in the era of a pandemic with everybody worrying, it's nice to be a little bit frivolous and lighthearted. According to nationaldaycalendar.com, and see, leave it to Sarah. That's where you can go to find out about this. According to nationaldaycalendar.com, an actual website, today, August 27th, gives us the chance to do something without having a reason. Well, I do that all day anyway, so I don't know what's so special about that. But I guess most people don't, I guess is the message there. Most people have a reason for doing what they do. I guess I don't. Anyway, if you're a fan of the sitcom Parks and Recreation, it's kind of like when Tom and Donna created their own Treat Yourself Day. So we're always busy doing stuff for other people. Or so says Sarah, who wrote this copy. But it's true, we do. So today is an opportunity to do something for you. You got it, just because. So what are you going to do today just because? Sarah asked me to ask myself that question, and I thought of a few things. One thing I'd like to do, my daughter, who's home from working for the National Football League because of the pandemic, she's working from our home in Arlington, doing work out of, for the league, NFL in New York. And since she was going to be here through the summer, she wanted me to buy her an inflatable pool that she could float in and sun in. And so we did. And it's been out there, not that expensive. For $300, you get a pretty good-sized pool. You can't dive in it or anything like that, but it's big enough that she can actually put a float in it and float on the float in the pool. I've not been in that pool. So I thought, just because, I'll go plop myself down in the pool and see what it feels like. That, I am actually really looking forward to doing that. I did do something, just because, that I don't usually do on Sunday, and I planted an hydrangea bush on our front walk. I dug the hole, I put it in, I put the potting soil in, I followed the instructions from the nursery where I got it, a wonderful place, called Mahoney's in the Boston area, and I planted it. And then I set the sprinkler on it to water it, and I stood proudly until the skies opened up and we had a thunderstorm, and I had the ridiculous sight of looking out my window and finding the sprinkler on as it's being pelted with rain coming down torrentially. So I put on a raincoat. I was too embarrassed. The neighbors must think, what is this crazy man doing, watering his plant in the middle of a thunderstorm? I went out and I turned off the sprinkler. And then our terrific producer, sound engineer, sorry, I get them confused, Scott Persson, told me about something called a silly walking zone. And some very imaginative people have created parts in their neighborhood where they post a sign saying, this is a silly walking zone. So you have to do some silly kind of walk, like Charlie Chaplin or Michael Jackson with his moonwalk or whoever. You have to do some silly kind of walk. Now, that has got to be good for you. I don't care who you are. That has got to be good for you, to be willing to loosen up enough to do a silly walk, whether it's a imitation of a drunk walk or a moonwalk or a Charlie Chaplin walk or hopping on one leg or whatever comes to mind. But I think I'll just declare a silly walking zone on the sidewalk outside my house and do a silly walk today just for me, just because. Another one that comes to my mind, I this morning, by mistake, I turned the shower to cold when I meant to turn it to hot. And I got this shock, but instead of immediately turning it to hot, I kind of enjoyed the moment. And it is bracing, a cold shower. It's bracing. So I think I'm going to get in the habit of doing that. It's an instant way of, you go brrr, but if you stick in there a little bit, it brings you to life in a non-drug way. It's a real shot, and so I'm gonna do more cold showers. I mean, I'm sure you could make all kinds of remarks about that, but I am going to get in the habit of taking cold showers. And finally, just for me, tomorrow, I'm going to bring my son's dog to work. I do go into the office. I don't see patients there, but there's some staff there. I see all the patients I see are on Zoom, but I'm going to bring Max with me. And I might, if I'm brave, also bring my daughter's dog, Layla. Now, Max weighs 110 pounds. Layla weighs 10 pounds. So it's quite a combination in the office. They've both been there before. But there's just, as you all know, if you listen to this regularly, I have an incredible love affair with dogs. It's no accident that God spelled backwards is dog. And so I could bring God with me, or two gods with me, to work. Well, those are 5 examples of what I might do today or tomorrow, just because, just for me. It's a nice way to loosen up your imagination, to wonder to yourself, what might I do today, just because? Before I go, I want to thank our sponsor, Omega Bright CBD. I've been taking it for several months now myself, and I found that it is really good for my reactivity. A lot of us with ADD can be impatient and reactive when something goes wrong. We don't get what we want. Things don't work out right. We can snap at people, snap at ourselves. That's not fun. And I found that the CBD, Omega Bright CBD, really helps diminish that. If you want to get it yourself, you can save 20% off your first order by using the promo code PODCAST2020 when you shop online at OmegaBrightWellness.com. That's OmegaBrite wellness.com. The bright is intentionally misspelled, BRITE. So OmegaBrightWellness.com. Why, you might ask, did they intentionally misspell it? I don't know, but that's what advertisers or branders or namers tend to do. OmegaBrightWellness.com. Okay, please continue to reach out to us with your questions, comments, and show ideas. Our email address is connect@distractionpodcast.com. That's connect@distractionpodcast.com. Distraction is created by Sounds Great Media. Our producer is the wonderful, beautiful, talented Sarah Guertin, and our recording engineer and editor is the meticulous and very, very talented Scott Persson. I'm Dr. Ned Hallowell, wishing you all good luck and thanking you for listening. The episode you just heard was sponsored by Omega Bright CBD, formulated by Omega Bright Wellness, creators of the #1 omega-3 supplements for the past 20 years. Omega Bright CBD, safe, third-party tested, and it works. Shop online at OmegaBrightWellness.com.